in Seattle, downtown Seattle. I'm Bailey.
And I'm Nick.
And thanks for joining us today. This is very exciting. This is actually the first time that we've gone live in our studio with since we launched our new printer this summer. So
this one right here.
Yeah, we're hoping that maybe that's what y'all are here to see today. But we'd actually love to know. We were just chatting before we started and wondering where you all heard about this from. We're guessing from email or maybe from an ad, and what you're here to see today, because we would like to keep doing these and make sure that we're showing you what you want and that you're getting your questions answered. So if you do have questions, if you're watching either on YouTube or we think we're also live on our Facebook page. Let's see.
We are. I get the thumbs up. Okay, great. Excellent.
Feel free to ask questions, and either Nick and I will answer and show you live here, or we also have a couple Glowforge staff in the chat, so you will get your questions answered. But yeah,
sounds good to me. Yeah, absolutely.
You'll notice we actually have a box here on the table today, and we are going to do the whole experience of your first print with a Glowforge Aura. So if some of you are newer with Glowforge, we've been around for since about, I think we launched in 2015 with our Glowforge Pro and Plus. We call those the professional series, and those are our big CO2 lasers. And then this summer we launched the Glowforge Aura. It's a craft laser, and it's made for anyone who loves making things at home and using different materials, designing, giving gifts, all the fun things, hosting theme parties, all of that good stuff. But this is really a way to level up your crafting experience, because you can use wood, you can use leather, you can use acrylic, all those fun materials. Many of them that you can use with the Glowforge Pro or Plus also work with the Aura. So we'll tell you all about that today as we go along.
Yeah. Should we dive right in, do you think?
Yeah.
Because we talk all the time about how easy this thing is to set up, and we realize that we don't necessarily show people in real time what it's actually like. And so to make sure there's no smoke and mirrors or tricks, we're going to do it live.
Right.
We'll set it up. We'll hop it into our Dreambox here. Some of you may have joined us in previous weeks when we did the Dreambox live stream.
That was over on their page.
Oh, it was. Yeah, well, maybe there's some crossover. I don't know. If is there, say hi again. Welcome back.
Yeah, isn't this gorgeous though? We're happy to have this in our studio. We filled it up.
We did. But there's a space right here, as you might notice, and this is where Aura is going to live. So we're going to pop it on there. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to deal with the box. And let's move this to one side. Now, unlike Glowforge Pro, this is a one-person operation. This is really easy to do. The Pro is a little bigger, a little heavier, weighs about 50 pounds. You'll need two people to kind of maneuver it. But this one is much easier for one person to manage.
The box even has a handle.
Right? Just carry.
And this is actually available in stores. So you can purchase on glowforge.com, or you can purchase in stores at Michael's, Joann, and now Best Buy. So in many of the stores, they actually have the printers there. You can actually walk in and walk out with it same day. So
am I right to think there's a UK retailer now?
Yes, and in the UK, Hobbycraft, exactly.
We used to get some people joining from the UK. I don't know if we do anymore, but still.
No, that is exciting.
But anyway, first step, open the lid. That's easy, right? Everybody can do this. We've got a piece of foam on top that fits snugly around here, and we'll just lift this out. Now, just like with the Pro, we'd recommend you keep your packaging in case you want to store your Aura or transport it, just to keep it safe. It all fits back in the box really easy. A little bit of protective foam on the top here, which actually has a link to the website that you'll need to go to set up your Wi-Fi too. Setup.glowforge.com, really easy to find. And then here we have Aura in all its glory inside. And all we're going to do is pick this up just like this. One person can lift that nice and easily, and then move this over to our table over here.
Okay. And then
let's just move this box over. Oh, one thing before I move the box. In the bottom, there is a cardboard tray just like this. And inside here, you'll find your cutting tray. And that's the metal surface that your prints are going to rest on inside your Glowforge Aura. And this is a removable piece. So let's just pop that to one side. So that's that bit. And we'll put the box out of the way. And then inside here, we have another piece of protective foam. And then two little bits of cardboard. First one at the front has got your exhaust hose, which can connect to a Glowforge personal filter, or you can vent out of the window. And tucked inside there is your power cable.
Lovely.
So we'll take those out. Box comes out like this. Pop that away.
Boop.
Inside this side, we've got the laser head itself. So this is where the laser comes out. We're just going to pick this up carefully, take this little piece out like this, and then this fits magnetically onto the laser rails snugly.
I would
like
say
that.
This is the part to do the most delicately, because this little ribbon cable right here, want to be really careful to not bend that or do anything weird to that. That's quite important in the printing process, but really easy to pop out just like you just showed.
That's it. And you can always take it off to. It just literally lifts off there. It should be nice and firm. And you should be
It's
able to feel
magnetic,
these
right?
things. Yeah,
So
exactly.
it just pops right on.
And this should slide around nicely. Now, there is one thing that's really difficult to communicate in written instructions that's quite important to do. And that is sometimes when this machine is in shipping, these rails here skew a little bit. They might get, the box might get bumped or something. And so I'm going to exaggerate this, but they might end up kind of like that. You see what happened?
And that's not good.
That's not ideal. You could print like that, but your rectangles are going to end up being kind of like parallelograms, which is not great.
Not really what we want.
The way to fix it, really easy. Just take your fingers, slide the rail all the way to the front and pull. You see how that squared that up? Push it all the way to the back and then push. And
just make sure it's all squared like that.
All squared, that's it. Yeah, really, really simple.
And important to note, I mean, you saw us just unpack the cord, but we're doing all of this and moving the rails around and such when it's unplugged. It's not plugged in right now.
Yes,
so important.
Great point to
Important to always keep it unplugged while you're moving the head around and the rails and such.
That's it. And that's it. So all the pieces are in. It's all ready to go. Last thing to do is to connect our power cable back here and our exhaust hose. I'm going to do exhaust first. Now we have, of course, for vanity's sake, a nice white power cable to go with our dream box too.
Comes with the black one. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
It is the hose right here that we're attaching for venting. We're attaching it to the Glowforge personal filter, which is the air filter that works with the Aura.
That's it.
The hose itself actually comes with the Aura. It doesn't come with the filter. So if you don't have the filter, you'll use this hose to then vent out a window or similar in your workspace. Gorge.
But that's it. That's all connected. I'm just going to connect that. Yep. Do that, and then we'll plug it in. And then the next step is to connect it to Wi-Fi. And that sounds like it might be complicated, but I promise it's really easy.
So there's just one. There's not a button, actually. There's just literally this button. There's not a power button on the Aura. So plugging it in does it. And then you just saw the light come on. It's come to life. Yep.
And so it's going to try and connect to Wi-Fi if it already knows a Wi-Fi connection. This one does because we've used it before. So to show you exactly how it would be when it arrives at your house, I'm just going to hold down this button right here for about 15 to 20 seconds or so until it glows a teal color. And that puts this into Wi-Fi setup. So
this is what you would do if you were bringing your Aura over to someone else's house and needed to jump on any Wi-Fi with it.
That's it. Yeah. Same as if you were taking it to maybe a craft event or something like that. Or let's say you went to a location where you didn't have Wi-Fi and you wanted to connect to your phone. This can connect to a personal hotspot on a phone if you prefer to.
There we go. There's the teal glowing. So that indicates it's ready to do the Wi-Fi setup, which we'll do from the computer.
That's it. So let's jump right over. So far, so good, I think, right? That was pretty straightforward.
It's so nice and light. It's just a dream.
It's so easy to maneuver in comparison to the Pro. Now, of course, it comes as a trade-off, right? We are looking at a machine that has a little bit less power, a little bit less room inside to be able to cut and engrave materials, but you can't argue with the convenience.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm seeing some questions come through a little bit more about the need for the air filter. So yes, anytime you use a laser cutting machine at all, you're going to need a way to vent. That's because the laser is actually, disintegrating, decimating, lasering away material like wood and leather and acrylic and things like that. So there is particulates, dust, vaporized material to do away with. And so we do that two ways. We have a fan system in the Glowforge itself, and that pushes all those particulates down the vent, out the back through the vent hose. So you either need to have that venting out a window or, an exterior door or something like that, or you're going to need to use the air filter if you're in an enclosed space. So we have different versions of the air filter for the Plus and Pro, the Performance series, versus the personal filter here for the Aura.
I actually really like the Aura personal filter because it connects via Bluetooth to the Aura.
Fancy.
So when you start a print, the filter automatically turns on too, which is really nice. You don't have to remember to turn anything on. So
another question coming up, does it go into a sleep or standby mode automatically to conserve energy consumption, or do you have to unplug it every time you're done with a project?
It does. It's after 30 minutes, I believe. I think that's the value, and it does go to sleep. The lights inside will all turn off. All you need to do to wake it up is press the button or lift the lid, and you'll see it illuminate again, and then you can continue with your projects.
If you are in a workspace where you need to unplug it because you move it into a room and then work and then move it out, a good tip is to always plug in the air filter first before the Aura. It has something to do with getting the Bluetooth to reconnect more smoothly. I've always had the best luck with that. And then, is it going to be available anywhere outside the US or UK soon? I know the process of expanding into new countries is quite intensive. So I know we'd love to, and we hear all you international fans out there. So you'll hear it here first when we have any additional countries, but nothing on the roadmap quite yet. But make sure that, I mean, if you're watching this, you're likely on our email list. So keep an eye on emails. We'll definitely send announcements like that when we have them.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, one thing I wanted to mention, we're getting a lot of questions about like getting this for the holidays. Obviously, this is a really good gift item, or just to enhance all of your other gift items. We do have Aura available with a firm financing this holiday season, and you can actually finance it for as low as $42 a month. It'll depend, of course, on your individual situation, what you're approved for, but $42 a month is
pretty quite affordable.
Right? Yeah,
it really does. Like, we recognize that it's an expensive investment, but 42 does make it a little easier to manage. So hopefully that helps some people.
Yeah,
Should we
so with that, let's keep doing the Wi-Fi setup.
Keep sending your questions in, of course. Anything at all is game. We'll revisit those in just a sec. But for now, what you can see on my screen is the Glowforge Wi-Fi setup app. Now, depending on which browser you use, you may or may not need the app. For example, if you use Safari on a Mac, you don't need to use the app. If you use Google Chrome, you do. When you go to setup.glowforge.com, it'll prompt you either way. It's a very small thing. Download it, and this is what you see here. And of course, we're going to be setting up Glowforge Aura, so I'm going to click this button right here. And then this is going to take me through step-by-step instructions about exactly what to do. And you just saw me demonstrate the actual unboxing process, but that's detailed here with short videos and descriptions if you want to follow along there. But we're going to skip ahead because we've done that bit already. We have a second page all about the exhaust, covering the stuff that Bailey just covered just a second ago. And then here we've got Wi-Fi setup, and this is the bit that we need to do right now. Now, this is very simple. Right now, Glowforge is broadcasting its own Wi-Fi network, so I'm going to connect to that. So I'm going to press next first, and then go up to my Wi-Fi, and then look in my list here for a Wi-Fi network beginning Glowforge, and then something that looks like 6 numbers and letters, like this one. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to join. And then back in our app, after a second, it's going to recognize the connection and then take me to the next screen. And now what I need to do is share my credentials with my Wi-Fi, either from my home network or from my phone, whatever it might be, to my Glowforge Aura. So I'm going to find our network here. I have to type in the password. Let's see if I can do it without any mistakes. I actually don't know if that was right or not.
Oh,
so
man,
I'm going to try again.
Woo! I swear, I don't know the Wi-Fi password at my house. It's embarrassing. We had a party, and I was like, what is it again? Yeah, my phone is sharing it with people, but I don't know it.
All right, and that's going to connect, and it's going to share all that information with Aura automatically. And then in a second, this should give us a confirmation it's connected. Now, we do have a lot of Wi-Fi networks here. There's a lot of businesses share the building. We have lots of devices and things online.
We're
so occasionally it takes a minute.
Yeah, real business downtown sort of setting. Yeah. Lots of phones in here.
I often wonder how scary it would be if you could get those glasses where you could see all of the waves and things.
Oh, geez.
Wouldn't that be so intense?
I mean, I know both of my dogs have their own little like cell phone network on their collars, right?
Oh,
so
really?
They're everywhere. Yeah, those collars that track them.
Yeah.
Okay, some questions coming in.
Let's do it.
We're looking at these for our mobile platform. Are they pretty sturdy when moved in a vehicle, or would they require some calibration?
That's a great question. I mean, I personally have had really good success connecting a Glowforge to my phone. When I've taken these over to HSN, for example, and we were doing tests in the back rooms, connected it there. Yep. We've been to places like Maker Faire in the Bay Area, and we've used our phones there.
Yeah, so Wi-Fi wise, anything little hotspots seems to work. I think they might be concerned more with physically moving it, and is it going to get out of calibration?
The actual machine itself?
Yeah.
Sorry if I missed that detail. The machine itself is really robust, really sturdy.
Yeah.
We would always advise it's on a nice, flat, stable surface.
Right, that's very important.
Yeah, and of course, if it's printing while it's being moved, it could easily get jostled, and maybe the laser head itself might shift just slightly, which could affect the quality of the print that you're making. Just like anything, really, like your personal printer at home that does ink printing, if you were to shake that while it was printing, it'd probably be the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you were driving along while it was printing on a bumpy road, you might notice some things there. It's honestly not something we've tested for specifically.
Yeah.
But it's not the first time we've heard of somebody using a mobile makerspace.
Yeah, but if you were going to drive up with a van, open it up, and then, just making sure it's in a place where, it's not going to get jostled during print jobs. You should be pretty good there. We've done similar things. Okay, what's the price? So the Aura is $11.99 USD, and the filter is $3.99. folks are wondering if we can show our setup in the background of all our materials really quickly. We can definitely do that. And also someone asking is it limited to certain materials? So
that's a great question.
Shall we kind of get into
both
of those at once?
Yes.
We have a lot going on behind us. So.
I made a mistake here in my setup. I was trying to switch my window. So I'm just doing the same thing again, connecting to the Wi-Fi and sharing my credentials. I apologize about that. That's me just trying to do two things at once. But yes, in terms of materials, we have a plethora of stuff in front of us right now that we could talk about. I am just going to type this in right now. It turns out I can't talk and type at the same time, so forgive me.
No. If you're brand new to the concept of Glowforge and using all of the materials that Glowforge can use, it's easy to think of in kind of two ways: proof grade materials and non-proof grade materials. And your Glowforge can definitely work with both. So proof grade are a line of wood, leather, acrylic, draft board, plywoods and hardwoods, that sort of thing.
Veneer.
That we've developed here at Glowforge and tested, and we've masked it with protective coating, and we put a QR code on it. And our goal is that you just, you can buy one of those, pop it into your Glowforge, and you get a perfect print every time. So the engraved looks exactly as you expect it, and the cut goes through every time and is beautiful. And that is kind of like your, easy bake oven version of using a Glowforge. Here is a piece of proof grade eco thin purple acrylic. So this was an acrylic developed specifically for Aura, super thin and cuts really beautifully on your Aura. I would also work on the Plus or Pro, and the little icons on here show which machines it'll work on. And here's this one's obviously not for the Aura. This is too big, so this would go in the Pro over here on my left.
You could use it in the Aura though, right? With the pass-through slots on the side.
The Aura has pass-through slots on either side, so you could open up the little doors and shove it right through, and and so you could actually use this piece, but this one's walnut plywood. So that's proof grade materials for you. They're ready to print. The settings register automatically due to the QR code, and it's just a seamless experience. You could also, though, choose your own materials from a craft store, or pick up a stone off the ground at the beach and throw it in there and fuss with the settings and come up with a result that you really like. There are tons of Glowforge owners who have got, pretty robust,
it's amazing.
Groups
how much
and
work people have put in.
Spreadsheets of settings. And so you can really go ham with it. There's a few things that you want to avoid. Acrylic does not work with any laser. Sorry, not acrylic. Vinyl does not work with any lasers. We did develop a really cool non-vinyl, vinyl alternative, both a peel and stick version and an iron-on version for Glowforge, or actually it works on both of them. So you can do, those t-shirt projects, which are so popular, or customize a canvas bag or anything like that. So that's that.
We should grab an example of that. I bet I can get Elliot to find one of those. And I thought I had an example of those vinyl materials around, or vinyl-free alternatives, but I can't find it right now. But I will. We can figure that out in a second.
So the behind us, though, this is the Dreambox 2. And I mean, you can imagine the studio around us is like an explosion of making things. There's all sorts of different materials and projects and photo shoot props from seasons past. But this is kind of just this would be a really wonderful way to just kind of have everything at your fingertips.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We, as we were working with this, we thought it was going to be really easy to fill it. We have a lot of crafting supplies around, but there is still so much space left in this thing for anything and everything you can think of to do with the craft that you like to pursue. So this is the way we've set it up, and we can give you a tool a little bit later on if you're interested. But it's a really cool, flexible system.
Full of the different. Here's a package of the proof grade iron-on. So you might find this in store at Michael's or Joanne, or just online at glowforge.com in our material shop. But this is a pack that comes. This is actually all white, but I know that we have one that has black and pink and silver, and a couple of one with some primary colors. So we're expanding the line of that because I think that's really popular. I know a lot of people love to make custom T-shirts and bags, and this has a little like a pot holder on it. Lots of fun stuff. So.
And what's cool about this is sized for Aura perfectly. So this is the right size to fit in, so you can maximize your cutting space. But it's also flat. If you've used some of the other products that use vinyl materials, you often have to unroll them and then stick them down to a sheet to keep them flat. You don't need to do that with here. You just take one of the sheets out of here, stick it right in on top of that metal surface that we showed you before, the cutting tray. Use the settings that are baked into the app to do like a kiss cut, as you might know. It just goes through the sticky surface and not the backing. Peel away the excess that you don't need, iron it on, and that's it. Really great.
All right, we're getting some questions about software, but I bet this might be a good time to show.
I think it is. Let's see. So we're online now. Let's give this a refresh. And I can definitely show you my my software here on my screen. Is that what everyone's seeing? Yep, perfect.
I think so, yep.
All right. So actually, let me go back here a second. Let's start at my dashboard. Now, this is where most people are going to start, and it's where you can keep all of your designs, you can access the catalog, and you can organize everything, make copies, rename, and that kind of thing too. And in here, I have my design already saved, which is just down here under my recent designs. And it's this particular greetings card that I think we could make. It's seasonal, holiday specific.
Nice.
And this is where it's going to take us once we click on that design.
And the Glowforge software I want to mention is nothing you have to download. It's just web-based. So you can just access by typing in app.glowforge.com. You can do it from your phone as well. So yeah, nothing to download. And when we introduce new features, which we do all the time, they will just be there. So
yeah,
nothing, you don't have to download updates or anything like that. Same as on the capabilities of your Glowforge. We have improved the capabilities, things like made the camera better with, remotely, and those things will just update automatically with your Glowforge. So,
and we do get a lot of questions about ease of use. If you used any kind of software at all, from word processing to PowerPoint, anything like that uses a sort of drag and drop interface, you're going to be successful with this because it uses basically all of the same stuff. So we can move our design around, we can scale it. If we want to undo, we can use our same keyboard shortcuts to do that too. We can make copies by Control-C and Control-V. There's so many different options here.
And what you're seeing right now, if it's not obvious, or sorry if you said this already, but this is the tray. It looks kind of,
it's actually really hard to see what we're doing.
There's maybe we should put it in material now. So there's a camera on the lid of the Aura. So when Nick opens it right now, it puts in the piece of paper that we're going to work with, this cardstock. It'll take a new photo of the background, and that gives us, context and size and scale and everything to our design, so we can actually drag the design directly onto the material. It's not like a guessing game of like where it's going to hit it or anything like that. It's exact.
No measuring, no jigs.
Oh yes, I love no measuring. That is my look at all the crooked paintings in my house. We'll tell you. Yeah.
So here we have it. Here's our design, and you can see that image updated pretty quickly with the material that we put inside. Now, of course, if this was one of our proof grade pieces of material with the QR code, the settings here at the top would automatically update and configure everything. Now, in this instance, we're using a piece of cardstock. It's not proof grade, but we do actually have the settings for this built into the app. So I'm just going to click on unknown material.
We have a couple of those, like bonus. We don't sell the cardstock, but it's a pretty standard setting. So we put it in there. I think cardboard's another one. And maybe
2 thickness of cardigan hardboard.
Maybe
copy paper.
Oh, is there? Okay, so some paper ones.
Yep, absolutely. And this is my design. And all I'm going to do is kind of resize this to fit this particular card blank that I have and drag it into place. This looks about right. And we can get as artistic and as accurate as we like with this, or we can keep it pretty simple. And on here on the left-hand side, I have what are called our print steps. And these define what's going to happen when we actually create this thing. And this design is made of 2 different sections. There's basically the outline of the card. So if I put in a big sheet of paper, I could cut the card element out as well. But right now, what I've done is set that to ignore by clicking on here and choosing ignore instead of cut, engrave, or score. So I can use it basically as an alignment guide. Basically, what this means is you don't need to print every part of your design every time, or you can customize every part of your design. You can choose some things to be engraved, some things to be cut, some things to be scored. So you have a lot of granular control if that's what you're looking for. And so we're going to drag and drop that into place. We have our cut step right here. And then the final thing I'm going to do is tell Glowforge Aura how tall my material is so the laser can be focused really precisely and get everything in the right spot. And we built a tool just for that. It's in the 3 dots menu. It's called Set Focus. And I'm just going to click where I want my print to go. And what's going to happen is the laser head's going to come across. Maybe I could show you real quick. It's going to end up above the material just where we clicked. Sorry about the reflections, but I think you can see that. And all those whirring noises that you're hearing now are the sensors and things built into the machine, measuring how tall that material is so we can focus everything perfectly. Now the head returns back home into that top left, which means that we're ready to send our print. And so all I have to do at that point is check my design. I think I'm going to shrink it down a little bit, just like that. I'm going to hit print. And that's that. Now, there's another calibration step that the machine then takes just to make sure everything is going to work perfectly. And as soon as all of that's done and that information has been shared, you'll get a confirmation in the app about how long the print's going to take.
Right. I love that.
You can press the button. It's great. It really sets expectations. I mean, people talk about learning these things and getting started. And there's so much information that has been shared within here that just makes it really, really easy. So let's see, we've got 3 minutes and 12. Our button is flashing right here.
All right, we got to get this on camera. This is one of the money shot of the whole show. It's right here. Okay.
Ready. So just one button on the machine. You know what I didn't do is connect our filter.
Oh.
Let's pop that in right there. So that connects. And then the head's going to come across and our print is basically going to start. Now this specific print that we're doing today is all cuts. And you can see right here, the laser is cutting through that material in one go. There's no sticky mats to hold the material down. There's nothing you need to do to weigh it down or anything like that. The material's just laying flat on top of that honeycomb tray. So what that means is you don't really have to be particularly precise about the way that you put your material in here either. You could just lay it in there, and then any inaccuracy, if you put it in slightly sideways or crooked, you can accommodate for that actually in the app itself. Now, this is where both me and Bailey go silent as we watch the laser go.
I'm trying to hold my hand still. It's so hard. I always forget not to have 5 espressos before these two. Oh, yeah. Right.
But it really is amazing. I mean, right now we're going with a relatively simple tree design. Once we get down to the text element, you'll see how much detail there is there. And one, how difficult that would be to do with a craft knife or something similar, like by hand. But also, if you've had experience using a typical blade cutting machine, you'll know how tricky it can be to get those really fine details. Now, I shrunk this design down to try and exaggerate how small we could get that text.
Oh.
So let's see if I pushed it too far or not.
Oh.
It looks like it's turning out.
You can't see it yet. Exciting.
It's coming. It's coming.
Okay.
Should we check on some questions?
We definitely have a bunch of questions coming in. So to get back to design and software, what we're doing right now is like a pre-designed thing. Nick didn't show really any designing within the app itself, but you can use, if you're a designer, things like Illustrator or Photoshop or Canva or Inkscape or any other design programs you might be familiar with, export as a PDF or a JPEG or a what other ones?
JPEG. Wait. So take a breath. Pause. If you want a design that you can cut as well as engrave, you need to be using an SVG or a PDF. Those two there will allow you to do that.
JPEG is engravable.
That absolutely.
Yeah.
Likewise with PNGs. And there's probably a couple others that I'm spacing on right now.
Yeah.
But yes.
So you'll be able to import files from other programs. You can also buy laser cut files on Etsy. Lots of artists and designers make laser ready files and just upload those into the Glowforge catalog or Glowforge app, or you can choose designs from the Glowforge catalog. We've got hundreds in there at this point, both for Aura and for the performance series. So the print process that Nick just showed us is as if we already had the print already. We also have some basic design tools in the app, things like fonts, and there's, I think, actually a couple million different clipper icons.
Just a couple of million, you know, no big
it's
deal.
Really amazing. I made a Taylor Swift Eras Tour frame, and I couldn't believe there was the little heart hands and some other really cute, a scarf, some little Insider Swiftie clip art in there. So there's some design tools within the app, but the great thing about Glowforge and the print app is that it's always free to use. You will never have to pay a subscription to print with your printer. We do have a premium service that includes even more design tools and some, we've got this Magic Canvas AI design creator tool. What else is in premium? There's a puzzle maker. There's
the stamp maker too.
Yes. So just some things to kind of really supercharge your Glowforge experience. But that's an extra if you like, but you will always be able to print for free. So, and someone's asking, can you import a specific font? And if so, how's that done? You can import the font as part of a finished design, but you won't be able to upload the font to use within the app on an ongoing basis at this time.
Yes, that's right. I do believe the app references Google fonts for its font library. So there is an expansive number of fonts that are in there. I'd be surprised if you couldn't find what you were looking for, but I realize there might be some occasions where you might need something custom. In that case, you'd want to put it into a piece of design software and expand that font and then import it as either a PDF or an SVG if you want to cut it, or a JPEG or a PNG if you want to engrave it. Looks like our design is finished, so I'm going to pull this out while we're here. Now, as soon as the design's finished, you can take this out of the machine. There's nothing, it's not hot or anything like that. I'll bring it over. Yeah, you can see these little pieces just kind of fell out there. There's a couple of little fibers just holding them on. But you can see on the back side, it's a super clean cut. Some of these really tiny letters might just need a little bit of help just poking them out there. But what I liked about this particular design and why I chose it today is that you take the waste pieces from here, and then using some of these little foam sticky dots, you can actually stick them back onto the card like this to create kind of like a dimensional 3D scene. Yeah,
really nice.
So maybe I'll try and do that while we answer some questions.
Awesome. I'm seeing what's the thickest size material you can use.
Great question.
I believe, I believe with the Aura, it is a 1/4 inch.
Yep.
And then if you remove the tray, do we get up to 3/4?
Yes. So cutting would be a 1/4 inch.
1/4 inch.
And then for engraving, the maximum height of that thing that you're engraving on will be 3/4 inch.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So cutting boards, things like that, they would work perfectly.
Do you have to use your filter, or can we use a different one? I believe you have to use our filter. I have seen folks using built-in filtration systems. Like if you are a science teacher and you already have a filter system within your lab, I do believe you can connect it with the host of your filter system. So I don't want to say definitively you cannot use another filter, but we did design these filters to work optimally with the Glowforge laser. So it's definitely what we'd recommend.
Yes.
How often do you need to change the filter? That is very dependent on what you are cutting or engraving with it. Some materials tend to fill the filter cartridges faster than others. For example, I know our very handy and useful material draft board that fills the filter quickly compared to something like if you're engraving designs on stone coasters that will hardly produce any particulates at all. And so you will get a longer lifespan out of your filter. So kind of an it depends answer right there.
One thing that's nice about it though, just to show you really quick, I'll just pull the hose off. This particular filter design itself, you just pop the top off. It's magnetic again. And then the cartridge itself is just inside like this. So you just take it out, pop a new one back in, and you're back to printing in, well, less than 30 seconds, I would say.
Yes, they're really handy and lovely. I really like the Glowforge, the personal filter. It's really kind of trendy looking too. I'm like, ooh, yeah. It looks nice.
Just the flexibility it gives you, right? To be able to put your Aura wherever you want in your house. I mean, if you have power and Wi-Fi, you could take this thing out to the woods and you could print in the woods with like no problem at all.
What's the largest design the Aura can do? Well, the bed is 12 by 12. Do you know the actual cutting size off the top of your head?
It's very close to 12 by 12, actually. We made this one to fit almost exactly the 12 by 12 size. It will depend on if you have engraving elements versus cutting elements because of some physics to do with accelerating and decelerating, but I would say very close to 12 by 12. There is, of course, the pass-through feature too.
Right.
So there are doors on the side, which would allow you to slide a piece of material from left to right through the machine. So you could, let's say, take a piece that is 12 inches wide by 4 feet long, and you could print a section of that, slide it along, print a little bit more, slide it along, and print a little bit more. So that way you can create something much, much larger.
Yeah. Yes. There's many creative workarounds with lasers in general, but especially with Aura, with finding ways to make it work for what you want to make, just with being a little creative.
Yeah.
Like I know we get a lot of questions about putting, a water bottle or a wine bottle or something like that in the Aura itself, and that will not work due to size limitations. But you can do something like this. This is our sticky wood veneer product, and you can make a label like this that you could put on any sort of wine bottle, or this is a cool little flask. And I just think this is so awesome, and just kind of like, a different twist on the same inspiration.
Yeah. And I know some people out there, some of the crafters might be familiar with products like Armor Etch, which is the glass etching cream.
Oh, right.
Or you might have a small sandblaster at home for doing things like that. So you could use Aura to create a stencil to then put onto your surface. You could then use that cream or your sandblaster or something like that too. So lots of different creative approaches. I'm
seeing a couple specific things can or can't it print with. Can I engrave 65-pound cardstock?
Yes,
I would think
say.
so.
Yeah. You can engrave paper, so
that's what's amazing is these machines, both of them, both the Performance Series and the Aura, they are able to be fine-tuned manually within the app. And by that, I just mean you're dragging a bar up and down and testing what happens. But fine-tuned such that they can engrave everything from literally copy paper or tissue all the way up to engraving on stone. So it's really, really dynamic, the results you can get. So the cardstock is a great one. Engraving on a golf ball. No, because the size, I believe, is too tall.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I'm also not entirely sure what the outside of a golf ball is made from. So if you're considering doing that with a laser, just maybe take a moment to research that, because if that's a vinyl-based product, some of the gases that come off that could be dangerous, regardless of which laser you end up using.
Questions about glass. And what about glasses like pint glass? So with the Performance Series, you can etch on glass and also on clear acrylics. You do want to make sure that it's a laser safe acrylic. I want to always say that with plexiglasses or acrylic. There are some that may not be laser safe. So the Performance Series does great with glass and with clear acrylics. The Aura, due to it being a diode laser rather than a CO2 laser, it cannot etch or cut through clear materials. So if that's super important to you and you're crafting, you'll want to go with the Performance Series. Yeah. Which I get it. It looks cool. I did all my wedding decor in clear acrylic. It's a really cool look. But I mean, there's lots of things you can do with colored acrylic too. We'll do another stream to show off some of these techniques, but we love to do things like use the masking that we put on as sort of a fill guide. So you would etch away imagine you have a piece of teal acrylic and you etch a beautiful design in it, but it's, teal etched into teal. So instead you'll use the proof grade masking as kind of a guide to paint fill, or gold crayon fill. We've got all sorts of different finishing techniques. And then you get a nice pop of color using just that colored acrylic. So there are definitely really awesome creative things you can do with plexiglass with all the models.
There's one material that we were just experimenting with recently, which is agate stone slices.
Ooh.
And I don't know if they're on that stool that are right next to you, Baylor, or if I put them over here.
No, is it like a purple?
Yeah, we had a yellow one. Oh, here we go. Look.
Oh, yeah, I saw this sitting around.
So these were kind of, but this is an interesting thing just to show people how the laser can interact with different materials and how important color is. So
you didn't paint this, is what you're saying?
Didn't paint this one, but there's one, which I'm hoping we can find because it turned out so good that we did paint. And this comes into, we're getting almost into like the world of laser hacks here.
Oh.
But this one here, I actually hit with some black spray paint before I engraved it, and it kind of absorbed the heat differently and was able to engrave this material, which is basically glass. So
it's totally smooth to the touch, by the way. I can't really feel this at all, that there's anything.
So these are relatively inexpensive to buy online. I bought a pack of different colors and I just started experimenting the other day with them.
This one I can feel.
Right? And so that one I think I hit a few times to see if I could get an engraving down that center part. Yeah. To see how the middle's kind of white versus the yellow.
It's just the variation in the stone.
Yeah, yeah, which I think is super, super interesting. But you can leverage that for your artistic kind of vision and things. Yeah, really cool.
Fabulous. Does the laser leave burn marks on the cut areas? Yes, kind of, which is why we have that masking on our wood. I mean, I think that's kind of like the stereotypical, like, you're at a craft market and you'll see these little boxes made with a laser and they're kind of all like blasted around the edges. You can kind of see this is a stamp that we've made actually with some laser safe rubber. Amazing. But this is the front to show you what the stamp result will look like. And you can see.
So you can see in the middle here, we have this kind of smudgy mark around the text.
Is that the technical?
Schmutzy? I think so. I couldn't spell it. Don't ask me to spell it, but I think that is the word.
Mark, yes.
And the masking is still on this material here in the middle. But you can see on the edge here, we've actually peeled it off. So you can see the maple wood grain, and you can see how clean that is. That's because all of that schmutzy was on the paper that we were then able to peel away and discard. So there is some smoke, there is some residue that comes off it, but there are ways to deal with it. If you're engraving something like a cutting board too, that is very easy to clean off with some alcohol, or you can just give it a light sanding to remove it as well. So it's not a huge deal.
Does the Aura use all of the same optics as the other machines?
Ooh,
that's a tricky
deep
one.
Question. Yeah.
To my knowledge, it can engrave at the same quality, dots per inch. So my gut instinct is yes, but I don't know that super confidently.
I think what's interesting about the Aura is all of the laser stuff happens inside that little black box that you saw, the laser head. Everything is contained within there. It's kind of like the DVD player, but supercharged. It's a little tiny laser lens. With the Pro, the Performance Series, we have a laser tube in the back, and the laser has to exit that tube, go through a window, hit a mirror, turn, and there's a bunch more pieces of glass that it basically needs to interact with, and you need to keep clean. So in that sense, they're different, but in terms of the quality and the result that you can get, especially for engraving, I would say they're very comparable.
Yep. What's the thickest material that can be used in the pass-through?
With the Pro, it is 1/4 inch. With the Aura, it is a little bit thinner than that. Now, I don't work in inches, so I don't know what is a little bit thinner than 1/4 of an inch. I'm so sorry.
Light and thin and medium and thick and things like that. Yes.
So I would say around 5 millimeters is probably the thickest material that could go through the Aura pass-through. I imagine we could find that exact number for you on the FAQ page on the website if it's there. And if you really need to know, maybe leave a message in the chat and we'll find someone to get back to you.
Yeah. Okay. I can tell this group is on to laser hacking already. They're advanced. They're asking, what if we put something behind the clear acrylic? Would it cut the design then?
So
maybe. Yeah.
So when we were first developing Aura, I found out this by accident. Now, this is an experiment I did. This is nothing official at all. I'm sharing just my results because it's interesting. We are learning all together, right, as a community. I was trying to cut something like paper or fabric that I was worried was going to move around. So I took a piece of thick, clear acrylic and put it on top of that material. And the laser actually went all the way through the clear, cut the material underneath, and only just marked the bottom of that clear, which was really interesting. I haven't really had a chance to play with that any further, but I think there's some probably interesting creative stuff that you can do with that.
I've seen it. I've seen some engraved clear acrylic done by an Aura, and I can't explain to you exactly how it was done, but there are a couple great Facebook groups on Facebook, obviously, about Aura, and folks on there testing all sorts of materials and techniques. And I think this had something to do with either tape or paint that was used in several passes.
I think it was similar to this, actually. We kind of coated the surface. Yeah.
So if you're really determined, you can probably find a workaround. But yeah, if you're looking to open a shop in which you sell engraved clear acrylic keychains, I would definitely think more about investing in the Performance series, because in the Performance series, also to mention, engraves and cuts faster than the Aura. It's not just a size difference. It actually is faster. So
bed size is bigger too. So if you're working in small batches of things, let's say you're doing coasters or something like that, you can put 6, 9, 12 of them in there at a time. Just run them all at once. Yeah. So much better for business. Yeah.
But I love all the
this is
the
great
workaround questions.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see.
And so part of the idea of bringing back the live stream is to try and understand who's out there and what people are looking for, and probably to do these regularly as we can and tailor each one for a specific group. And we don't really know how this is going to work or how it's going to look in the future. This one we definitely intended for people who are new to lasers, who are maybe thinking about Glowforge Aura versus the Pro. And so that's why we went with the unboxing and things. But I think we could probably do special live streams that are about design, maybe material hacks. Maybe we bring in the community and we have some discussions around that kind of thing. So any suggestions you have, ideas, things you'd like to see, please leave them in the comments.
Yes. Let's see. Any last questions? We've been at it for about 45 minutes.
Time flies. Wow, that's amazing.
Will the Glowforge fit in the Create Room box? Yes.
Just here. It's perfect.
Are there any specials coming up before Christmas on any of the Glowforge printers? We cannot disclose that here today, but I will say keep your eyes on, your inbox and also on our site. We do, have some plans for the rest of the year and also just upcoming. We're really excited about getting Aura into a lot more hands. It is so cool to see all these new users who maybe have been wanting Glowforge for a really long time, or people who had never heard of it before. There's a lot of those people who are like, wait a minute, what? So it's a really nice upgrade for anyone who has been working with a vinyl cutter cutting machine. And so, you've wrapped your head around maybe designing for it and you are just ready to, what if I wasn't confined to paper and vinyl? What if I could cut this onto hardwood, or what if I could engrave this onto stone? And so just really exciting the way all of your creative possibilities will open up once you get your hands on a laser.
Whew,
well, I think with that, that leaves it for today. But please feel free to leave comments on the video or reply to any of our emails. Those do get back to Nick and I with ideas of what you'd like to see live. And we'll see you all here. We will be here same bat time, same bat place next week. That will be Thursday, the 16th of November, if you're watching in real time. So we'll see you all then.
Sounds great. All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.